Hi, I'm River Castelonia, and you're listening to Chasing Dreams with Amy J.
Welcome to Chasing Dreams podcast with Amy J. Amy believes that realizing a life without regrets is achieved by taking chances, chasing your dreams, making moves, and overcoming your doubts. The Chasing Dreams podcast will help you overcome life's obstacles, believe in your potential, and inspire you to face your fears. And now here's the woman who is passionately pursuing her dreams, Amy J.
Hey Dream Chasers, this is Amy J, and thank you so much for tuning in to episode 108 of Chasing Dreams. Yeah guys, we're into triple digits. It still hasn't hit me yet. But we're still bringing amazing people to you and sharing their stories. And this Dream Chaser is no exception. In fact, we had to actually stop talking off the record and be like, listen, you're talking too many gems. Okay. We're going to have to just start recording. And so I want to introduce you guys so we can get to the conversation. Welcome, River Castelonia. He currently studies mechanical engineering at Manhattan College, specializing in solid modeling and mechanical design. After working on Nobel Prize-winning research at Brookhaven National Laboratory, he began his undergraduate in engineering. During his first academic year at Manhattan College, he began working for Tesla Motor Inc. in their sales division, developed skills in both marketing and business. Combining both his technical and business background, he helped to co-found Haven Labs, a nonprofit that designs 3D printed prosthetics for amputees in the New York area. How awesome is that, right? Technology has come so far, and he is a busy, busy man, and we were lucky to get him here. River, how are you doing today?
Hey, Amy. Oh, man, thank you so much. I really genuinely appreciate you taking the time out to have me on your incredible show. And, on behalf of the whole team, we really just want to thank you. So thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome. But the honor is mine because you are doing some first-class work, and you have done some first-class talking in your TED Talk. And, before I get too far down the road, what are you doing currently? I know I said a little bit about it in the introduction, but currently, nonprofit, Haven Labs, you're also still studying. What's going on here?
I recently, I just walked in my graduation for school. That was kind of crazy, but I still have a couple classes I have left to finish up at Manhattan. Right
Congratulations.
now, thanks. It definitely was a tough road, but it was super crucial to go and get that done, and it's definitely helped a lot in the journey. And right now, I am actually in California, so I am. Right now, I have an internship at the Tesla factory, so that's definitely been super exciting and a lot of things, going on there. So and we're working with our team now to with Haven Labs to really get the utility band going, which is a new device that we recently just released on both Thingiverse and My Mini Factory. So it's been a ride for sure, but we're really excited about all the things that we've got going on.
And you do have a lot going on. I mean, aside from the cool internship with Tesla again that you have, you also did a TED Talk. And I'm actually very curious about this TED Talk, and it's entitled "The Second Chance That Changed My Life."
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So when I first started in college, I was going to school upstate at Siena College for about 2 years, and I was studying physics. And while I was there, I was going through a ton of just really rough moments. I began to realize physics wasn't really where I saw myself, and I thought that maybe going to New York City and studying engineering would be a better fit for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had a fascination with New York City, and it's kind of, for me growing up was kind of like the place where dreams are really built. And so going to study there really helped me quite a bit. I was going through really rough time, just figuring out, and what I wanted to do. And I think that for a lot of people, when they get out of high school and they start up college, it's sort of the first pivotal moment for them to
Yeah.
really start working on, themselves and their dreams and things that they really want to do and want to achieve. And I kind of took a step back and I was like, man, all these ideas that I had and I wanted to do, they're just not really happening. And it was kind of a wake up call. And one day I literally, I never really believed in like epiphanies or anything like that, but literally one day I'd woken up and I was like, I got to transfer. I have to go. And I literally just sat all day finding schools, and I found Manhattan. I applied and I took the tour a few weeks later, and I transferred. So
So you did that all on a wake up call, literally.
yeah, yeah. It was like an alert. I can't really describe it, but I just really began to think, and I was like, I'm already. I think at that point I was 20, 21, and it was like, man, time is really flying by. It seemed, and it's like, when, at what point, am I going to make a change? And I just decided to just take the chance, and I'm really happy that I did it. So it really helped me a lot, and honestly, in many ways, it gave me my life back. So I was really happy, with the result of everything.
So aside from the work call, because I think a lot of college students kind of feel this, maybe even face it themselves. What were you feeling? Was it anxiety or just doubt about where you were headed?
Yeah, it was definitely anxiety and for sure a ton of doubt. But I also think that, when you're in an area or a place where you're not really getting the right kind of support for what it is that you want to do, it can do quite a bit of, damage, I think, internally. And being able to say, hey, I really need to figure out what it is I want for myself, because I was studying physics, but it wasn't really, like I said, something that I was, I think, in love with. And I definitely sort of took a kind of a step back and was like, this kind of needs to change. And so that's kind of when I started looking to transfer. That was, definitely for sure a big moment.
Can I ask why you went down that road initially?
Oh, like the transferring or physics?
No, like just what? Why did you even go take physics or just down that approach when you first started college?
Growing up, some of my like big idols were, Neil deGrasse, Michio Kaku, Bill Nye, and then also my physics teacher in high school, Dr. Paul Fritz, who really made a huge impact on me, and I began to realize like, man, all these people, had studied physics and they had, this uncanny ability to really solve like all these different types of problems. And that to me was really fascinating. And it was kind of the underlying foundation for, all science. It was pretty like a wow thing for me. So I wanted to give it a shot.
And I think I'm notorious, and I probably have said this on previous episodes, for having changed my major multiple times. I started off chemical engineering. To this day, I don't know why I started with that. But I had chemical engineering with a computer science minor because I always knew I wanted to do something with computers, but I didn't actually know anything about computers except that I used it back in the day. And so with that summer, when I first took my first computer science course, that's when I was like, okay, this is not a minor kind of thing. I loved what I was doing.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. And I changed my master's and made my majors to chemistry. I think it was chemistry and computer science, like a double major instead of a major minor kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
and then changed it to computer science with a math minor. And then, but I think it's a process, right? And so I was curious to see if why you started it. I didn't even know why I started. I think a lot of people think one thing, but like you changed yours. We don't really know, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of like going with what seemed like a good, I guess, just like underlying foundation for science. Because I always liked science, even though I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. It's going to sound, I guess, kind of crazy, but I was never good at it. But I always really appreciated the subject, and I thought that it always held a lot of value. Growing up, my uncle, who was a huge role model for me, he was really like the first person in our family to go and become an engineer. And so seeing him, in his journey, was definitely a really like impactful experience as a kid. So I think that was also another kind of big part of it too.
Before your transfer and from your TED Talk, sorry guys, spoilers, you've had to take some courses multiple times.
Oh yeah, yeah. I had to take Calc 3 three times. I had to take Physics 1 twice, Calc 1 twice. Yeah, a bunch of classes. I mean, it's really difficult, but even if something is really hard, and even if you fail at something, it doesn't make you a failure. And I think it took me to transfer and to kind of continue on that hard path to realize that, because now that I can look back, I mean I can really say, hey, I like really know that subject, and you take a lot of pride in sort of what it took to get there. You really do appreciate it.
I mean, I think your story actually shows that even though things are difficult and maybe it's something you enjoy, it's still the thing to do. Maybe you just need to find a better environment.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, your environment is key. Who you surround yourself with is really important, and also just getting the help and support that you need to really fulfill what it is that you want. Life is very short, and so you kind of have to look at your situation from all angles. That's definitely super important.
And the thing is, right? We were talking about this offline, which guys,
Yeah.
this is why we had to like, all right, we had to stop talking so I could start recording because it's just some great stuff. You said something that I thought was very profound. Do you remember what it was? Can you say it, or do you want me to say it?
Oh yeah, that many people they tend to, especially kids in college when they first start college, they will typically do things that they are good at, not necessarily things that they like or enjoy.
And that's the thing. I mean, it's twofold, right? That on top of some people also, they'll work on something hard and work on it and work on not do well and just become disheartened by it.
Yeah.
As well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you have the opposite story where this is something you kind of were interested in, was difficult. You found a new circumstance, new environment, and your story was different at that point. Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there was also something else that I had realized too, which was it's also like why people do what they do. And I think I actually just kind of came to this realization very recently, but I think that the why is sort of broken down into two different components. It's like what I call like the selfish why and then the selfless why. And if you're doing things, for instance, for the title or for the prestige or for that car or for that house that you have been eyeing, that's kind of the selfish why. And if you don't achieve those things, you will there'll be no repercussion for that. You're kind of the only person you have to answer to. But when you have a more selfless why, when you're doing it for, let's say, your sick grandmother or, your mother who has been there for you for your whole life, or your father, that, you have to answer to somebody for that. And so, you're less prone to giving up. So for me, along the way, as hard as it's been, I do everything I can, basically, for my parents and my family. They have been my rock, and they have definitely helped to open my eyes to, many, many things. And even though that things were hard, for them, when we were growing up, they never gave up. And so, I think that's definitely kind of where I get it from, that kind of, even though things get tough, you don't just give it up. It's how they raised me. So I definitely, I'm super grateful for that.
And maybe it's that resiliency that had you doing what you were passionate about, what you love, because I think you're right. That observation you made about how oftentimes people do what they're good at versus what they enjoy and what they love, because it's easy, right? If you're good at something, it's easy to do.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So why would you do something different? Even if you love it, it's harder, right? A lot of people feel they can't do both. Because, I mean, I'm good at some things and I do that during the day. But what I love to do, I still find a way to do it. It's just at night. But there are some people where it's all or nothing, I find. I mean, have you seen that in your experiences?
Yeah, I guess it's definitely something that I've definitely taken notice to. And I mean, I almost did the same thing. I almost quit physics to do something totally unrelated because it was something that, I was a bit better at. But I remember I sat down with my dad and he was telling me, you're 18 now. There's really not much I can say or do. You're a young man, and just know that every person gets their day. But if you quit right now, you'll never get that. And I thought about not me at that point, but I thought about me 10 years in the future, and what would I say to myself at that point. So it's really important. Everything is an investment, especially time. So I think that even though things get tough in certain circumstances, you have to really think about how it's going to impact you later. I mean, I think that people that will switch from something that is harder to something that is much easier, it's something that they kind of get away from in the moment, but for the long term, it's something that will definitely come back, which I think it's really all about just investing in like long-term happiness.
And that's a difficult concept to wrap your head around immediately. Yeah. Like,
for sure.
It's one of those things where, especially for young people, and you know what though, guys, if you are young and you haven't gotten that debt, whether it be school loans, credit card loans, whatever, think about that up front. A lot of people, I think, tie themselves to the thing they are unhappy with because of financial reasons.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Again, it's not to say, hey, if you have that financial difficulty right now, don't do the hard thing. Don't do the easy thing to kind of pay for it. What a friend of mine in her wise wisdom said, I work my day job to pay for my hobbies, the things that she loves to do, the things she enjoys. And that's true.
Yeah, you definitely, it's all about, personal fulfillment. And, you can sort of, you can sort of do that. You can kind of have your cake and eat it too, in the sense of, doing that thing that helps to propel your interests. And, it's one of those things where it's like, if it's really important to you, no matter how challenging it may be to navigate, you can really always find a way. There's always a way to get from point A to point B. It's just about finding that path.
Right. It may not be the most obvious answer. It may not be the one you like, but
Yeah.
there's a way. Isn't that funny? It's the thing that, hey, there is a way. It's that window over there that's open. Yeah, it's not what you wanted,
Yeah.
but it's a way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's just about, getting creative with it too, and sort of like innovating a solution, and looking at it differently. I've noticed that, when a bunch of people go one way, sometimes, not all the time, but that's a good point for me to really take a step back and see what's really going on. And maybe the other way is actually better.
Very possible.
So,
Very possible. But here's something interesting that you've done that I find, and in talking about something hard, something easy. You worked at Tesla Motors in their sales division, right? Marketing business. You use that with your background to create Haven Labs. Haven Labs, the purpose is to design 3D printed prosthetics for amputees in the New York area.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting because growing up, my grandfather was a huge part of my upbringing and part of just my life. To this day, I can honestly say that he is, my best friend. And he's a veteran. He did 25 years in the Air Force.
Wow.
And he was a medic, and he saw a lot of really just difficult things in his time of serving. And I actually reflected on a lot of those stories as I was going through transferring and starting Haven Labs with my co-founders Brian and my cousin Ron. And it was a point of reflection that because my grandfather is one of the kindest people I think I have ever met. He's the type of person where he would do anything to help somebody in need. He really is a selfless person. And, he was really a big part of why we actually started Haven Labs.
That's awesome. But I mean, the fact that you took the leap to do that, I mean, at such a young age, right? I love that you're doing it in honor of your grandfather, that you're doing this amazing thing with your family. But to take such a leap at that time, on top of the fact that you're still in school, did you not have any reservations about this? Was it, yeah, we're doing this, that's it, let's go?
I actually was really scared.
So were you the holdout?
No. I jumped right in I jumped right in. I mean, I was definitely nervous, but what happened was, I had just finished reading Elon Musk's biography, and I was on the train, and I was sitting there, and I was like, man, being able to make a difference, making a change, through all the adversity that he had faced, and still going through, with his vision of the way that he wanted to help shape humanity and help the world. That really left a huge impact on me. And I reached out to, my good friend Brian, and my cousin Ron, and we really just got everything started. And then we were able to team up with another good friend of mine, Amin Hassani, who is our lead designer, who has been doing some really incredible work with us and has really helped to kind of carry out the vision of everything that we were trying to do. But I mean, it was definitely a really scary moment. What happened was, we really we're just a couple of guys that had an idea, and we just really wanted to give it a shot. There's never a perfect time for those type of things, I feel like. And if you feel strongly about it and it's something that you really want to do, I think that, you can always find a way.
So you talk about it as though this was an easy thing to do, but guys, he's still in school. Yes, congratulations, you did walk, but
yeah,
you have that going on. you did this. This isn't some lemonade stand. I mean,
Yeah,
you've
it
done
was.
an amazing thing. And I hope you understand how big of a thing this is, how awesome it is that you took this leap, that you've done this thing, because it truly is.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And I mean, again, I could not have done it without, everyone on the team. They were definitely the perfect, group of individuals to help bring everything to life. So yeah, definitely 100% could not have done it without them.
Well, let's ask this. So, how many years has Haven Labs been in action? I guess would be
Yeah.
the best way to say it.
So we grouped up. So me, Ron, and Brian got together in August 2015, and we started working on the first device in that fall. So I think fall 2015 into spring 2016, and that's when we created our first device, which was Utility Gauntlet version 1. And that basically was supposed to be a really multifunctional prosthetic for upper limb amputees. And really, it was supposed to put an emphasis on customization for an individual that needed a device like that for, like a partial forearm. And basically, you would take a 3D scan of the individual's residual limb, and then you could actually project that scan on the inside of the socket, and that would be sort of like a perfect fit. So it would actually match and mimic their geometry to a T. And so what we did was we open sourced that design, and because at the time we didn't have any sort of 3D scanning equipment, and so we figured that if we had open sourced it, we could definitely get a research institution to hopefully use it and distribute it. But after that, we realized that it was kind of difficult to reach a very wide group of people because it is so specialized, because it required that kind of technology. So then we started working on dozens more of different prototypes with the same concept in mind. And five prototypes later, we created the utility band, which is basically it's very simple. And we wanted to create something that was not intimidating for people that maybe are just getting into 3D printing, because we realized that obviously, not everyone that needs this device is always super tech savvy or is, a seasoned maker. So we wanted to make something that was very simple, very nice looking. And also, if a replacement part needed to be 3D printed, it didn't take very long to print that. So assembly is virtually seconds. And right now, the tools that we have provided will help amputees perform basic tasks such as holding forks, knives and spoons, and pencils, and a bunch of other tools. And we're actually going to be launching some more tools this upcoming week that will allow amputees to hold cups, as well as a phone holder, which will be, definitely, I think, really useful for day-to-day tasks.
That's beyond impressive. I mean, the work you're doing, the people you're helping is fantastic. And now you are a team of how many?
So right now it's me, Ron, Brian, my friend Jed, and my cousin Anthony, as well as Amin, who, as I mentioned before, he's heading up the design on our devices and has really been, super pivotal in our kind of moving forward.
I mean, it's awesome to hear how you've taken an idea and you're forging forward with that idea, despite the fact that, it's not easy doing what you're doing, but the people you're helping, and you seem to be very passionate about it. I could be making that up, but it comes through, you know?
Yeah, no, I think that at the end of the day, it's really important that you do something that you love and that you care about. Life is very short, and I think that many times, people will really stop and think about, man, all this time has passed by, and I really should have just gave that a shot. And that's kind of the thinking that I had with this, and along with the rest of the team, this really was important and it really mattered, and it had the potential to really help, a lot of people. And so I really hope that we continue forward, and I know that we will, and I know that that our tools will expand over time. And again, everything moving forward and currently and in the past is all open source. So again, because we don't charge, we will never charge for these kind of devices. If you have access to a 3D printer, you can print these out. And now, even libraries, like local libraries, are having 3D printers available, and there's maker spaces all over that will, allow you to access, the proper materials to print this. So, yeah, we really just wanted to make it accessible because, I think these are devices that will help with maybe not all cases with individuals that may need a prosthetic or an assistive device, but it will definitely help, we believe, a very large number of people. So, yeah, it's been really great. I mean, we're so excited to, carry out what the next project will be. So,
No, it's fantastic. So will you be focusing on this full time after your internship?
definitely, I plan to definitely stay with the team for as long as I can imagine, and to keep pushing this full steam. We're just getting started, and I think that in the future we will definitely have even more projects to get out there and to help people. So yeah, I definitely see myself being on the team full time after graduating.
Well, that's awesome. And can't wait to see what else you have in store for the world, River. But before you do go off and continue helping, what is something you would recommend to someone chasing their dream, an action item you would tell them to take today?
I think the most important thing is to know that those thoughts that you have about a certain idea, sometimes I think people talk themselves out of it. That, man, I don't have the resources to do this. I don't have sometimes maybe even the proper education necessary to do this, but you have the ability to create whatever it is that you choose. This is really your path. This is your life. Our team, when we started out, we had very little money. I mean, literally our first printer, I had saved up enough money just to have our first printer. And, from there we had a GoFundMe campaign, and that was enough to really get us going. So take the leaps and bounds. And, a lot of people will tell you that you can't do something, or, you're not good enough, or you're not smart enough. I was told this many times, many times. And to this day, occasionally I'll still hear these things, and it's fine, but the important thing to know is that, you believe in it, and that makes it important. So never give up, go out, really have a super strong work ethic, and whatever it is that you do, make sure that you have an incredible team, because they are going to be the soul of it. I mean, that you guys all believe in it together. I think there's a saying, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And I think that holds very true. So,
I like that.
Yeah, there's no way this would happen without, the team that I have. So, yeah, all those things are definitely super, super crucial in kind of creating something brand new, I would say.
Well, River, thank you so much for coming onto the show. I love that advice because I think it's very important, especially about surrounding yourself with people who also believe in what you believe in, because I think you go farther. You do. I think that quote was very apt. But thank you so much for coming onto the show and sharing all of that.
Oh, Amy, thank you. I really can't, express my gratitude. I, really had a great time on the show, and, I'm looking forward to future episodes. I'll definitely be tuning in.
Thanks, River.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amy.
Hey guys, that was River Castelonia coming onto the show from Haven Labs, sharing his background, his story, I don't want to say trials, but like his persistence in chasing his dream, I guess would be the best word. Because, to have that second chance to find something he's passionate about and pursue it, and now he's working on it. That's something we want for all of you. That's something I hope you all can say and come on the show and share. So definitely check out all the links and notes and more information about River and Haven Labs and the work they're doing on the show notes page over at chasingdreamshq.com/episode 108. That's episode 108. I guess I should say episode 108. You get it. All right. Until next time, guys, keep chasing.
Thank you so much for listening to Chasing Dreams. Amy would love to connect with you and hear all about your pursuit of chasing your dreams. Connect with her on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram via @ChasingDreamsHQ. Or you can find Amy on Twitter @AmyJ21. That's AIMEEJ21. Be sure to visit headquarters over at ChasingDreamsHQ.com for more inspiration, motivation, and resources to help with your own dream chase. We hope you'll join Amy next week, and until then, keep chasing.